got that thing about it's all energy. There's no materiality is an illusion, because it is. Now another thing Keely dealt with that's kind of extraordinary, and we're just now beginning to get the idea that maybe we can do this too. All the frequencies of this molecule are in harmony with each other. That's like what we got done drawing here. If they're all in harmony with each other, they will tend to stay together. The molecule will hold itself together. That's the negative attractive force holding itself together. That's harmony. The minute you introduce an inharmonic tone, a tone that is different from the concord that's established there, this thing will start to agitate. It's like if you got a group of people that get along really well together, and then somebody comes in and they just start agitating everybody. The team goes, the team players go, the whole thing starts coming apart. Same thing in an orchestra. If everybody's playing in tune, we'll make beautiful music. But you get a guy in there starting to shriek on his oboe or whatever, and the place falls apart. Same thing happens with a molecule. If we took an inharmonic tone and introduced it into the structure, it would just come apart. We don't have to hit it with a sledgehammer. It would just come apart. And that's how Keely was able to investigate 8 levels, which we can't do today. We're trying to use atom smashers that cost umpteen billions of dollars, and we're not really doing anything. We're not making it. Any questions on this thing so far? By the way, the black areas are considered the negative side, the female side. The black areas, the white areas, the male force. They're positive charged. The black side is negative charged. The gray areas are neutral.
I'd just like to comment that this has the characteristics of a fractal, you know.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you recognize that or not.
Yes.
Yeah. So perhaps it can be approached with the mathematical fractals to some degree, because that's exactly what a fractal is. No matter how deep a level you go to, the patterns just keep repeating themselves over and over again. And so as the size reduces, the energy goes up. So that's sort of like a reverse fractal in the opposite direction. Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's one of the basic principles of music, by the way, is how the entire construct, it's like these numbers right here, no matter where you go on this scale, the same thing applies in the same way. So these are the natural fundamental principles through which the universe operates. And once we understand those, like this fractal business, then we'll come. In fact, let me say that right now before we get too far, and I'll get right to you. The fractal mechanism This is the basic fractal mechanism, the mathematical construct of a fractal. A fractal is a mathematical thing, okay? What we see in the pretty pictures on fractals is what the computer can generate from those numbers. Well, this is what generates the numbers. If we have a given input, comes in here, we work a change on that input, and it comes out over here. But it's A modified in some way by this modifier. And that's all a fractal is. So we can get in here and we can make A as complicated or whatever we want it to be, and do the same thing with a modifier, and we just keep going back through that modifier over and over and over and over again. And we get those beautiful patterns. Music does the same thing, because we always work with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No matter what the octave. We can start at the lowest possible octave, and we can go up to the highest possible octave, like in light, 46 or 48 frequency octave, and do that, because it's all the same stuff. There is no difference. This, by the way, is the neutral, corresponds to the neutral in these charts, where you see the gray. We can get into that too. Yes?
I'm not exactly sure how these thoughts are coming. I'm really involved in researching health and the physical body, and I can see where vibrations of negative thoughts, stress, chemically induced negative vibrations could start the spin on the molecule in the body and create the inharmonic vibrations which result in disease. And that would explain why music therapy and why even singing or doing things for yourself to tune the body, they talk about tuning and balancing, that would override that program to put it back into a state of harmonics so that they would start flowing and vibrating together in a harmonic state. Is that basically what?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Where we go into the infinite ninths, where the eighth level of these particles is mind energy. Those are the particles associated with mind. Now, Keely's work, and I have these beautiful drawings and charts that Keely left us. I have them over at my table. Anybody's welcome to come by and look at them. He left us these incredible charts of the human brain. Now, the brain is the physical mechanism, the physical substance between our ears. The mind is something else. The brain he considered as an acoustic resonator. The convolutions of the brain determine the various frequencies of the physical brain. Sound, in ancient literature, sound was what caused the universe to be. Sound is a rarefaction compression of whatever particle media we're dealing with. If it's the etheric realm, then it's those etheric particles. If it's the molecular realm, it's like water. We see the water waves, same difference. Mind is a range of particles on the eighth level of this thing, so every particle in the universe is composed of mind particles. That's why telepathy works. That's why telekinesis works, because we can communicate, we can become in sympathy with those particles of that spoon or whatever it is we're bending or working with, and it will do our bidding. In that regard, we are the image of God, because we are in touch with this level of energy, because that's what we are. So when we meditate and we get real quiet and we cease to cause inharmonic disturbances within our organism, then the purity of that stream of energy can expand and express itself in a more pure form. So yes, you're right. But this shows, Keely's work shows how those things are connected one to the other. Now what I needed to say again, and I kind of left this off, what we're talking about is the physics of sympathetic vibration. In high school physics, they teach if you have a tuning fork of one frequency over here and you got the tuning fork over here the same tone, you vibrate this one responds. That is done via sympathetic vibrations. Sympathetic vibration is a vibration that is sympathetic to both organisms, to both bodies. That's what a sympathetic vibration is. So this vibration in here and this one here would both be sympathetic streams of vibrations between these two objects. So everything is connected with or by sympathy, a sympathetic vibration. Way back when I began this study, a lady came to me. I was working at the Casey Foundation in Virginia. And this lady came to me and she says, well, how does Christ fit into this physics? I didn't know. That was quite a question. I just didn't know. And I began digging into the Casey material because he talked a lot about Christ and the energies and the patterns and how all that stuff related to each other. And after a while, it finally dawned on me how Christ fits into this and what Christ is in regards to a physical universe. And that is, he was the sympathy. He was the love. You know, Casey said he lived the law, he was the law, he personified the law, he taught the law. And I said, what law? You know, I had to dig that out. And I was in the book of John. And the book of John explains how Christ was material and then he became spirit, with one with the Father and then one with us and then one with the Spirit. I think it's John 16, something like that. But that was a perfect description of what I just told you a little while ago about how the material realm, the molecular realm can become the high spiritual realm, the mind levels and beyond, and how it can become the molecular again. Does that... Any more questions on that?
Yeah, this is not really a question. It's just a little statement. When you talk about sympathetic vibrations, really what you're talking about is resonance.
No, there's a difference between sympathetic vibration and resonance. Resonance is an effect. Sympathetic vibration is the cause of that effect.